Session with prayers. Sorry, I put a couple of minutes delay. Om. 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 Sahana vavatu, sahano bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahe, tejasvinavadhitamastu, ma vidvishavahe. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone. Just to level set where we are in the study of Bhagavad Gita's second chapter, Sri Krishna is in the middle of explaining to Arjuna who Asthita Prajna is. So far, we have gone through quite a few verses, almost half the verses. And okay, 1 second. Today we are going to look at two verses, which are very practical verses for anyone in the spiritual path to understand the pitfalls and how they happen. Sri Krishna is explaining to us the mechanics of how various negative qualities spring in our mind. So we will take a look at them. ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः संगस्तेषूपजायते संगात् संजायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽपि जायते ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः संगस्तेषूपजायते संगात् संजायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽपि जायते ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः संगस्तेषूपजायते संगात् संजायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽपि जायते. Let's look at some pronunciation related aspects. Dhyayato, the dha is in this compound letter dhya, the dha is aspirated. So dhyayate. Vishayan, the sh in the Vishayan is a cerebral sh, so the tip of the tongue should point towards the roof of the mouth. Vishayan pumsaha. Sangaste shu, again the shu is coming. Cerebral sh, shu pajayate. Sangat sanjayate kamaha, there are no aspirated consonants, so everything is simple, it should be easy. Kamat krodho vijayate. The dho is also an aspirated consonant, so krodho bhi is the next letter. That's also an aspirated consonant. Krodho bhi jayate. Okay. Let's look at the sandhi related changes in this verse. Dhyayato is actually dhyayataha. The visarga becomes u, so ta plus u becomes to. Dhyayato, okay, from dhyayataha. Vishayan pumsaha, there are two words. I just separate them, but no sandhi related changes in them. The next word is sangasteshu pajayate, is made up of three words: sangaha, teshu, and upajayate. Sangaha and teshu come together, and the visarga in the sangaha becomes is, and so it becomes sanghasteshu. Okay, sanghasteshu, and teshu, the shu and u become a long shu. Okay, the shu becomes elongated. Teshu upajayate. So it's sangas teshu upajayate. Individually, they are sangaha and teshu and upajayate. The next line, sangat sanjayate kama, there are no changes due to sandhi. Kamat, also no change. The next one is krodha abhijayate, there is a sandhi related change. In the krodha, the visarga becomes u again. So it becomes krodho, and a becomes silent, shown by the avagraha here. So it becomes krodhobhi, but it's krodha abhijayate. Okay, those are the two words. So those are sandhi related changes. Let's look at the word-to-word meaning. Dhyayataha. Dhyayataha means it's a seventh vibhakti of one who is thinking of something. Okay. It's actually not a sixth vibhakti per se. It's more or less a fifth vibhakti, but the way the meaning comes in English is better to say of. Dhyayam comes from the word dhya. Okay, so that means to think. Even dhyanam is nothing but thinking. But thinking which is properly controlled is dhyana. But all of us are thinking about something or other throughout the day when we awake. Okay. But what is this person thinking about? Vishayan. Vishayan means sensory objects, the worldly objects, material objects. It can be objects. When we say object, it can be things, it can be people, it can be circumstances, things like that. It can be power, possession, and relationships, you can say. Anything worldly. If the person who thinks about them, Pumsaha is a person. So actually Pumsaha is sixth vibhakti or sixth noun form, but the noun is Puman, means someone, anyone, person, individual. So a person who thinks about the worldly objects, for that person, Sangaha, association. Sangaha means association or joining or meeting. Teshu. Teshu means it's seventh vibhakti, which is on some of those, upon those things. Association upon those objects on which a person is thinking. Upajayate. So the more we think about anything, anyone, any circumstance or anything like that, a job or whatever, then there is some association which takes place. For example, if somebody looks at a car or something like that, one day they see it and then they think about it. After some time, you will go and check it out. That's things like that. So association starts. Then sangat. That sangat means from that association. From that association, sanjayate. I have used the word arises. You can say born, whichever it is. From that association arises kama, desire. So the more we associate with something or somebody, desire can come. Desire will come. Kama. Kamat. From that desire, krodha. Krodha means anger. Abhijayate. It also comes into existence. So it's also born. So from desire, krodha is born. Anger is born out of krodha. So when we desire something, when we are unable to achieve that desire, fulfill the desire, anger is the natural progenitor. It means that something which comes about. So this is what Sri Krishna is saying. So I have a summary of this. In a person who is thinking of sensory objects, association with those objects is born. From association arises desire. From desire, anger comes into existence. So, if we are angry about anything, it is only because we have a desire. But sometimes we may not even analyze and find out what the desire is. We may desire a certain outcome. We may desire a certain circumstance. We may desire a certain setup. If that doesn't happen, we will get angry with the situation and angry with people we imagine to be the cause of that also. If God is not fulfilling, then we get upset with God also. So this is Krodha. We will read Swami's discourse excerpt. You have been told by some of the lecturers that we are being born, we are getting entangled in this cycle of birth and death on account of some actions we may have done or out of ignorance. Moreover, after we are born, we get all kinds of desires. The getting of these desires and harboring them has been called karma. And when these desires are not fulfilled to the extent you want them to be fulfilled, then you become angry. That has been called krodha. These two qualities, kama and krodha, the desire and the anger, are responsible for all your troubles and sorrows. In these respects, Ramayana has given us a very good lesson. When we read Ramayana, we should ask ourselves the questions: what is the reason and who is responsible for sending Rama into exile in the forest? In replying to such a question, some people put the blame on Kaikeyi. Some people put the blame on the foolish fathers, Dasharatha. Some people put the blame on Mantara, who was the attendant, and so on. But when we read the appropriate sections of Ramayana and try to secure the basis for this particular act in Ramayana, we will find that in some sections, it has been said that Rama, when he was a very young child, was playing with a ball, and the ball fell on this ugly looking attendant, Mantara, who accompanied Kaikeyi. From that day, Mantara has entertained some hatred and jealousy towards Rama. In addition to this, because Mantara was an attendant who came with Kaikeyi from the kingdom of Kekaya, from where Kaikeyi came, it so happened that she was not very happy with or friendly to the sons of the other queens. She was only attached to the son of Kaikeyi. Because she could not do anything when the ball, which was hit by Rama, came and hit her on the back, which was an ugly hunchback, she was letting the hatred grow inside herself. She was waiting to take revenge at an appropriate time. This is normal worldly explanation of things. But for all these things to happen, the original root cause is Rama's own wish. When the time came for putting Rama on the throne, then she found the opportunity and she schemed and she did everything by which circumstances were so brought about that she had achieved what she wanted to achieve by sending Rama to the forest. When Rama, along with Lakshmana and Sita, was spending his time in exile on the Chitrakuta mountain, it so happened that Shurpanaka came and saw Rama and wanted to marry him and gave and have him as her husband. For this bad desire of hers, Lakshmana gave her an appropriate punishment. Then she went back to Ravana and did all that was necessary by which to excite Ravana to go and get hold of Sita, who was leading a life of devotion to her husband. Although Ramayana is a very large book, is an extensive epic. You will find that these two names, Manthara and Shurpanaka, who really have a considerable responsibility, have not been shown in any extensive manner anywhere in Ramayana. They appear only in one or two insignificant places. But these two, although they appear very insignificant in the totality of the story, move the whole story of Ramayana through. For Rama, who used to live in Ayodhya, to go to the forest, for Sita, who used to live in the forest with her husband, Rama, to go to Lanka, Ravana's place, the responsibility for both these happenings is on Manthara and Shurpanaka. Having stated that for the whole of Ramayana, Manthara and Shurpanaka are responsible, we have to recognize that these two are not just individuals. Shurpanaka signifies desire with attachment. Manthara signifies anger with vengeance. These two are the Kama and Krodha. These two, the Kama and Krodha, or lust and anger, are responsible for all kinds of difficult experiences which we have in our lives. But how are we to conquer these desires? How are we to get the upper hand over these desires? So long as we live in this world, there are bound to be desires. But you should not really become so despondent that we give up the attempt to conquer these desires. You may desire many things. You may experience many things you have desired. But if you're able to treat your desires as well as your experience to be such as arising in the name of God, then there will be some amount of happiness. When we only worship nature and when we want to enjoy that we see in nature around us, in the world, and do not think of God and forget about the existence of the divine, we are not going to be happy at all. For the path where you should sacrifice all these desires, Ramayana also contains an illustration of such a sacrifice. Because Rama started to go to the forest, Sita prayed in many different ways, using many arguments to be able to get his consent to go with him to the forest. She sacrificed all her happiness, she sacrificed her bodily comfort, and she gave up everything by way of worldly pleasures. Thus, she sought, by giving up all desires or kama, her being with Rama. For Sita, who sacrificed everything, all her happiness and all her riches and all her worldly pleasures, unhappily there came an instant when she began to be attracted by a golden deer. The moment her sacrifice had turned into her attraction to this golden deer, then Rama became distant from her. It was only when she sacrificed all her kama she could get Rama. But the moment her mind turned to a desire or to kama, Rama became distant from her. Ramayana is a text which teaches us such sacred inner meanings for every little content of it. But Ramayana at times got to be misinterpreted by various people as an ordinary story where some bad man has taken away the wife of another person and this person tried to get back his wife, and that it is a story of a family quarrel involving women and so on. That kind of feeling about Ramayana is not only wrong, but is also born out of ignorance. When we realize that Ramayana is a sacred text which contains several lessons for us and shows us the way to reach the divine, then only will we understand its full significance. Whether it be the Upanishads, or Ramayana or Bharata or Bhagavata, you find in them such stories which are invaluable and sacred inner meanings. Just by reading the words and getting a superficial meaning, you are not realizing the inner meanings contained in these sacred texts. In order that you may understand the inner meaning, you should come in contact with experienced people who are now teaching you and know from them, from their experience or from their scholarship. You should then put into practice what you learn. You will then know the value of our traditions. You students should not feel tired, should not feel vexed, should not feel that you are here by compulsion to sit through the day. You must come here with fullness of your heart. This was a discourse delivered by Swami in 1972. That was the first summer course conducted by Swami. It's a very significant year, 1972, when Swami began the study, the summer course. Mother Ishwarama passed away. So during that time, Swami is giving these lectures. So it's very, Swami is showing, his detachment in his own life to exemplify. And also the course was conducted. So I thought that we should recollect that also. Yes, Sister Aruna, you had your hand up and you put it down.
Sairam, brother, the verse 62 verse, can you please go back? There is a word jayate. These two places is coming. I know in Sanskrit the sound has the meaning too, but in that jayate, there's two different meanings are coming here. Yeah. No,
Oh,
next
yeah.
one, please.
Okay.
See, jayate, upajayate. What is upajayate and upajayate here? Abhijayate. So
So there are four.
jayate is common
Yes.
here.
Yes, very
Thank you.
nice. So Jayate is common. One is Upajayate, one is Sanjayate, one is Abhijayate. I didn't dwell on it. Jayate is to be born. Jayate means it's born. Okay. Upajayate means that which follows or comes near along with it. When something is born, something which comes close along with that is Upajayate. Upa means nearby. So if you think, the association also comes closer to you. So it means association may not have been there before, but the more you think about it, the association will come closer and closer.
It wasn't there. Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, upachayate means it already existed, but it'll come close to you. Okay, then sanjayate means multiple meanings are there in a good way or in full. Okay, sangat. So the more you associate, karma will come nicely in its full extent. Okay. So we have 2, 3 places where we can stop this. One is thinking about something. So once you think about it, the association came, then you should try to cut there, because if you don't, then karma will come in. Then karma is thwarted, then abhijayate. Abhijayate means it will be newly born. Anger is something new, which is instantly it will be born, which didn't even exist, suddenly it will come up when your desire is not realized. So that's the way upa, sam, and abhi are additional words given to give some color to how it comes about.
What
Okay.
is the meaning of abhi again, please?
Abhi means something instantly,
Understood.
newly.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
this kind of
Thank you.
meaning is abhi. Okay. Because generally you may be no, some people say I don't get angry. Maybe they don't have anger in them. But suddenly it will come. Okay, suddenly from nowhere it will come. That from nowhere coming is abhijayate. Okay, so I hope that answers the question. So we will go to the next one. Actually, some of the points which Swami has discussed in this discourse, except it relates to the next one also. We'll look at that. क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. We look at some spelling related aspects. Pronunciation related ones. Krodhat, in that bha is aspirated. Bhavati, in that bha is aspirated. Sammoha, no aspiration. Sammohat, no. Smriti vibhramaha. This bha starts with bha. There are two letters, which is bha and ra. So the bha is aspirated because it's a fourth letter in the pa class of consonants. Smriti vibhramaha. In the next line, Smriti Bhramshat. Okay. That bhra again, in that bha is aspirated. Bhramshad, buddhi. Uddhi, there also the second letter is, there are two letters, it's a compound consonant, id and id. Two dhas are there. One is the third letter in the third class of consonants, and the second letter in the compound consonant is the fourth letter in the third class of consonants. So the and the. So buddhi. Okay, so the second letter in that compound consonant is aspirated. Same with buddhi nashat. Again, the second letter in the dhi is aspirated. Pranashyati, there are no aspirated consonants. Let's look at sandhi related changes. In the first line, there are no sandhi related changes. All the words, krodha, bhavati, samoha, samohat, smriti vibhrama, no sandhi related changes in the first line. In the second line, there are a couple of changes. Smriti Brahmchat, the ut has become ud because of sandhi. Buddhi Nashaha, in that the visarga becomes u, so becomes sha plus u becomes sho. Buddhi Nasho. Okay, that's also due to sandhi. The other two words stand as they are. There are no sandhi related changes. We will look at the meaning. Krodhat. So from anger. Bhavati. I've used the word comes. So you can say something comes into being. Also you can say, oh, it remains or whatever. It's very difficult to translate it in English. So comes may be the best choice. Sammohaha. Moha means itself is delusion. Sammoha means fully deluded. The full delusion comes from anger. So what happens is when anger comes, we forget everything. That anger will consume us completely. So we'll be so caught up in it. In the grip of the anger, that's sammoha. When one is in the grip of anger completely, it is sammoha. Sammohat, from that delusion, that's the delusion only. Sammohat, smriti vibhramaha. Smriti means memory. Vibhramaha means it's lost or it's deranged. Memory is deranged, you can say also. The memory is lost. That means we don't remember anything. But Swami, in the previous discourse, you can see, we forget God. The memory which we lose is remembering God. But there are other types of memory also we can say. Because sometimes we do something and the experience is bad. But then we forget that experience was bad and again we do something same. Similar mistakes again committed. Then we again get into the same problem. So that is also Smriti Vibhramaha. Memory is lost. You can also say the more we get angry and all consumed by it, our own brain cells get damaged. So that's also a type of memory loss, we can say. Then Smriti Bhramshad. So through this loss of memory or from this loss of memory or due to this loss of memory, Buddhi Nasha. Buddhi is discrimination. So our Buddhi generally is lost only when we are angry. When we are angry and we forget God, then anger comes. That destroys the Buddhi. Buddhi Nasha means Buddhi is discriminatory power. Nasha means it's completely destroyed, I can say. Buddhi Nasha means we have got the discrimination power lost. Buddhi Nashat, when discrimination is lost, from the loss of discrimination, pranashyati. Pranashyati means the person perishes, is completely destroyed. He undoes himself. So this is the mechanics of how thought itself leads at the end, sometime to our own destruction. Sairam, Sister Brinda.
Sairam, brother. So Swami saying here, is it related to, can anger be distinguished between a different way of anger, like a positive and negative side of things? I'm wondering how Swami will say for the goddess Kali in, in Hinduism, always depicted as someone with anger and all of those things, but it's for a good reason, I guess. So how do you differentiate this here for the humans, for us to follow? Saira.
Okay, thank you very much, Sister. I think the first thing is the depiction of God's forms are based on imagination of people. Somebody imagines Kali to be like that and draws a picture, and that becomes very popular. People can say, oh, rishis only did this also. Yes, rishis have sometimes provided descriptions, but people use their imagination and draw. As in many discourses, Swami has said, the Rama, Krishna, and all you see are imaginations of Ravi Verma. There are calendars printed, statues made. These are all human imaginations, not necessarily real form of the divinity. But they become popular and people go and worship them. So I don't want to comment on it. So actually, Kali is actually time. A feminine form of time is Kali. The time is always swallowing everyone. We may think it is anger. Is the time angry that it's swallowing us? We become old. That's also swallowing by time. But we can say time is angry with us, so it's taking. So Kali, Kala means Yama, god of death, is also called Kala. It's a masculine name. But of course, in some Puranas, Kali was created by God to go and destroy bad. That's also mentioned. Because I think Daksha and so on, Daksha's yajna had to be, because you had to be taught a lesson and he had to be reformed, so Kali was sent. That's the story. Of the Puranas have very gory description of how it happened. But in this world, time will make certain negative things happen. Like even today, there's war going on everywhere. That is actually the time which makes things happen in this world. And because of that, people die. That's why Kali, different skulls are mentioned. She wears a series of skulls. All the people who are born and dead, their skulls she wears as garland. because time has followed so many people and so many people are dead in this world. And so many negative things happen in this world. So this is the reality and that's the depiction. But then how do we worship Kali is the next question. A devotee thinks everything is in the world is for good. Even the Mahabharata war itself took place, people were killed. Does God kill? He doesn't have to take birth to kill. Even without taking birth, he kills. That's why in Rudram we have something called Dure Vadhayacha. Agre Vadhayacha, Dure Vadhaya. That means from far also he can kill. Without coming down also God is killing. Everyone dies because time or God is killing them. Dure Vadhayacha. So devotees, real devotees found divinity there also. They found that also the handiwork of God. There may be individual instruments, who are used for whatever reason. And in everyone, for example, we may have a thought of killing somebody. Even if we don't do it, we have created karma because of the thought. We don't have to kill somebody. The thought itself is sufficient for an act, for a karma. So the thing is, we should look at other people's anger and say that's God trying to show his anger through them. So that way we will not get angry with them. But our own anger can be for varieties of reasons. I don't know whether I answered your question, but it's something for us to contemplate.
Yes,
When
brother.
others,
Thank you.
yes,
Yes.
but there's something called right, with the rightfulness, if righteous anger, when something wrong is going on. But that anger should not consume us. Samoha should not be there. Though it's anger is like a fire. That fire should not become a raging fire. Even if something unrighteous going on, there can be anger which will well in your heart, and you may have to act to protect somebody or protect the world or whatever. But there also you should not be consumed by that anger. And Krishna, actually, we are reading second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is telling Arjuna, go and kill. That is your Kshatriya dharma. But the same Krishna is telling him, you should have Adveshta Dharma Bhutana. You should not have any hatred for anyone in this world. So anger is okay. It's also something created by God, but it should be used for the right reasons. Just the way for cooking our food, we need fire. So fire to be used for cooking is good. Fire in a lamp lit for praying to God is good. But if you want to set somebody's home in fire, then it's a problem. So I think everything created in this world can be used the most positive way for bringing benefit to the world. As previously also Swami said, even desires are unavoidable in the world. But they should go hand in hand with the thought of God, without forgetting the God. So I think in all these situations, by thinking of God, we can manage the negativity which can come from that. I
Very
hope.
nice. Thank you, brother. Yes.
Sairam, sister. Yes, Kalyani, please go ahead.
Sorry, Uncle, just based on what you said, do you think that the righteous anger, it does not come from kama and sangha, like in this,
That's also karma.
that's also kama?
Because we expect there's a desire to have a certain circumstances,
Hmm.
a desire where there should be peace. That's
Hmm.
also karma, no doubt. But
Yeah.
But that's a
somebody,
positive karma, I guess. That's a
yes,
positive one.
exactly. It's a positive, it's a sattvic karma. It has some blessing from the Shastras. See, most of these have blessings from the Shastras if we handle them in the proper way possible. Any of these should not become so raging, all consuming, taking us to a state where we forget God. Anything which takes us to a place where we forget God is bad. That's what Swami in the previous excerpt, Swami, I said you can read it again. So the thing is, some of these exist in the world and it's also aspects of creation. But we have to use it well, with intelligence and with discrimination, submitting to God all the time, not forgetting God. I think that's the way to approach it. Even a righteous anger should be, see, some people get righteous anger and then they forget God and they take up. We have to be the persons who has to fix the problem. And sometimes they will take to all types of actions, which actually sometimes become bad by themselves also. So I think we should be careful in handling each of these qualities. They all exist, but they should not become unbridled, uncontrolled. And I think that's what Sri Krishna is teaching. If you ask a Sthita Prajna has all this. Sthita Prajna also has all this, but he knows how to manage them, how to contain them, because the person has not left the thought of God. And he will take every opportunity. Even Arjuna's, that's what Krishna is saying. Pray, thinking of me, you kill. Mam anusmara yuddhacha. Okay, kill, shoot, but thinking of me. So I think that's the most important thing. As long as we have that grip with God, we will be still under check. We will check ourselves, and I think that's what we have to understand. So you should understand, Krishna is describing Sthita Prajna. So that means Sthita Prajna is also faced with the same challenges, or he's also dealing with the same aspects of life like any normal human being. But a Sthita Prajna is well established in that prajna, that knowledge of God, the presence of God, and he will be established. That's what we understand. So let's look at the summary for this verse. From anger comes delusion. From delusion, loss of memory. From loss of memory, loss of discrimination. From loss of discrimination, the person perishes. Okay. I have an excerpt. We'll read that. See, Swami is giving a solution, okay, for the problem. So I thought that will be better. So let's read. Everyone's heart is a Dharma Kshetra, the scene of Mahabharatam war, where the battle between the forces of good and evil is fought. Why? The whole country is Dharma Kshetra. So the mothers and children of this land must be devoted to Dharma above all. The Gita begins with the word Dharma Kshetra and ends with the words Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Through Dharma, you have to transcend Dharma. That is why Kaushalya exhorted Rama when he went into the forest. May the Dharma which you are upholding by this act be your guardian when you are in the forest as an exile. And Rama too upheld Dharma even under the most trying circumstances. When, after the death of Ravana, Vibhishana's coronation was arranged, he prayed that Rama himself should crown him in the city of Lanka. But Rama declared that his vow and his father's orders did not allow him to set foot in the city during the years of exile. That period was not yet over, he said. So the function was attended only by Sugriva and others. Rama thus demonstrated by his actions how scrupulously Dharma had to be observed. We want mothers who are so wise and children who are so steadfast in the practice of Dharma. Practice, that's the real thing in spiritual matters. Scholarship is a burden. It is very often a handicap. So long as God is believed to be far away in temples and holy, men will feel religion a burden and a hurdle. But plant him in your heart and you feel light, burdenless, and even strong. It is like the food basket. When carried on the shoulder, it feels heavy. You are too weak even to carry it. But sit near a stream and eat it. Though the total weight has not decreased, you feel lighter and stronger. That is the consequence of taking the food in. Do likewise with the idea of God. Do not carry it on the shoulder. Have it in. Keep the memory of the Lord and His glory always with you. That will quicken your steps and you will arrive soon at the goal. The mother coming from the well with a pot of water on her head, another on the hip, and a third in her hand, hurries home, since she is always conscious of the infant in the cradle. If she forgets the infant, her gait slows down, and she wanders around, chatting with all her friends. Similarly, if God, the goal, is not cherished in the memory, one has to wander through many births and arrive home late. God is the life breath of every soul. So learn to live in His glory, in His memory, in His contemplation every moment. That is what the Vedas and the Shastras teach. It's a discourse Swami gave in 1964. Yes, Sister Aruna.
There was one sentence, could you please clarify, where it says through Dharma, you have to transcend Dharma? Please, what is that really meant? Please.
So, Dharma is all sattvic activities prescribed by the Shastras. Because that also can be a shackle. But to overcome that sattvic qualities will help. Because in this world, even doing good things can be a shackle. Because I want to do this good thing means there's ahankara there. I am the doer feeling is there also there. I'm the one who is doing seva, or I'm the one who is doing it. That is also something which has to be transcended. Like we perform activities, dharmic activities, we say, I'm doing the right thing, I'm following dharma. But as long as we say, I am doing dharma, we will not reach God. So that also has to be transcended. But the good thing about dharma is it falls under what's called vidya maya. There are two types of maya, illusion. One is avidya maya, which is maya with ignorance. Vidya maya is maya with knowledge. It's still knowledge, but it will take us to a point where we can transcend that easily. Like qualities of rajas and tamas are difficult to tamas has to be overcome by rajas. That is, if you are just inactive, activity is the one which will wake you up from inactivity. Even in the second chapter, I think we have studied it. Krishna diagnoses the problem of Arjuna. He drops everything and he sits down and says, I'm not going to fight. Then Krishna uses different tactic. He says, what type of, he scolds him. He says, are you spineless? Everyone is going to feel ashamed and all that. So right away, he arises from that tamas. Once he comes to that, then he teaches him all good things, what he should do and all that. That is sattvic. Then he's also here, he's giving us in Sita Prajna, going beyond sattva also. But the advantage of tamas has to be overcome by rajas has to be overcome by sattva, but sattva can be overcome only by sattva. It is like you use a thorn to remove another thorn. So sattva is capable of removing the thorn, which is also another sattva. So dharma, which we practice in the world, has to be also overcome.
Brother, at what point of time that happens? That is only at the side, that the last final stage, am I right?
Yeah, whenever you want to go there.
Okay, that's the final.
If you want to go today, that also can be final. You can give up all dharma and
That's the words. Okay, thank you. So
silence.
you have to use the dharma for all the time.
Dharma is the solution to overcome dharma also. That's why Krishna is saying, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. And that's a promise he is giving. Give up all dharmas also. That's also a lesson from Sri Krishna. But we are not studying that, so but I will leave it. So I have one more excerpt, maybe we'll read that also. Arjuna was a qualified candidate for being told the highest truth. He had discrimination, renunciation, and the aspiration to know. He was aware all the time of the glory that was Krishna. He had implicit faith in Krishna's wisdom, power, and grace. He belongs to the category of Priya Namra Sakha, a loud and humble friend. Bhishma, Uddhava, Bhima, Draupadi all belong to this category of devotees. Uddhava was such a close friend that Krishna gave him advance information of the destruction and disappearance of the Yadavas. Bhishma knew that Krishna was the Lord incarnate. He asserted this in the Kaurava court on many a crucial occasion. And he was happy that he got a vision of Krishna in his last moments. Then there are some who are Priya Sakhas, loved friends or beloved friends, with whom Krishna played and joked and kept joyful company. Others were delighted with his darshan, sparshan, and sambhashana, sight, touch, and conversation, and sought to be in his presence as long as possible. Such were the cowherd boys, they are friends. Then we have a group of suhrids, or senior comrades, well-wishers and companions who had a parental affection towards him, anxious about him and his circumstances, happy when they can fondle him or serve him or make him glad. The gopis, however, are a class of devotees by themselves. They reached the highest peak of devotion. They had no consciousness of anything other than the Lord. They had renounced the consciousness of the senses and the body. They were attached only to the principle of Krishna that was resident in that body. They were eager to know the other, not to experience this. When King Parikshit asked Sage Shuka who was relating to him the wonderful tale of the gopis and their love towards Krishna, about the nature of that love, Sukha replied that since they had no body consciousness, they were always immersed in God consciousness only. Therefore, there was no touch of the gross or material or physical in their love towards the Lord. It is the identification with the body and the slavery to the senses which it breeds that causes all cruelty, injustice, and violence that top the world. Once there was a king who discovered a court clown searching for some lost thing on the top terrace of the palace. The king asked him what he was looking for. He replied that a camel had broken loose and it might have climbed up the steps onto the terrace, so he had to ascend the steps to verify. The king laughed at his absurd surmise and asked, but the clown said, if you will, with all that hump of pride and crookedness of belief, can reach heaven as you believe you can, a camel too could reach the terrace, climbing up the 5 stairs. Gopis knew the secret of spiritual surrender. Their worship was not tainted by any bargaining spirit. For those who bargain and crave for profit, reverence is equated with the returns. They sell homage at so much per unit of satisfactory response. They are like paid servants, clamoring for wages, overtime allowance, bonus, etc. They calculate how much they are able to extract for the service rendered. Be, on the other hand, a member of the family, a kinsman, a friend. Feel that you are the Lord's own. then the work will not tire. It will not be done. It will be done much better. It will yield more satisfaction and the wages. The master will maintain you in bliss. What more can anyone aspire for? Leave the rest to him. He knows best. He is all. The joy of having him is enough reward. This is the secret of human happiness. Live out your lives on these lines, and you will never come to grief. Na me bhakta pranashyati, says Krishna. My devotees never suffer sorrow. I picked up this excerpt because of this word pranashyati. Krishna, in the earlier sloka verse we studied, he says people be destroyed, pranashyati, through buddhinasha. When discrimination is lost, the person is completely perishes. But in this, later on, Krishna is saying about devotees who will never be perishing, who will never perish. Na me bhakta. Me bhakta means my bhakta na pranashyati. They will never be perished. They will never perish. So this is Krishna's advice from somewhere else, but I thought it may be appropriate for us. We know what the problem is, which the verse describes. What is the solution for that is given by Swami in this excerpt, which I've got. This was also a discourse given in 1965. So the previous one was 64. So these are two discourses which I felt were good in trying to make us understand these two verses. So this is what I have prepared for today. So I will stop here if there are any questions. Yes, sister.
Sairam, brother, sorry to ask you again that question. The Dharma, transcend the Dharma. See, in Tamil, they say Dharman Talekakam. Okay. Then in Krishna, in the battlefield, asking the Dharma from Karna. So, where if there is any place or any character or any stories, say, as example that they are transcending Dharma, or only the jnanis or whoever merge at that point only it happens. Just I wanted to understand what is that really meant by that. Thank you, brother.
I think you gave the answer also, but you didn't realize you gave the answer. You gave the example of Karna.
Yeah.
Karna had done a lot of dharma also. Though he did a lot of bad things, he had done a lot of dharma. But because he had done a lot of dharma, he was not dying. The dharma was holding him back and he was suffering. So Krishna had to free him. Because Karna, who did dharma, felt very proud that he had done dharma. So he had to give that up also so that he could die peacefully. So why did Krishna go and ask him? Because of the dharma he did, that he gave him that womb. Others, he didn't go and ask anything. They suffered and died. But Karna, because of the dharma he did, Krishna went and made his pain go away by asking him, give me the pride of your dharma.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
So, yes, Sister Vani.
So there is this thing, the gopis knew the secret of spiritual surrender. Their worship was not tainted by any bargaining spirit. So the bargaining here meant that we are asking for different things from God, and when God, who knows what we want, then that is when we do the full surrender. Is that how?
Yeah, good question, sister. The thing is, when we say we ask, it's not that we stand in the prayer room and ask. See, all devotees, whoever we pray, whoever is a devotee of Swami, we pray to him. But when we have a desire of success in this world, naturally we are asking. That's all we are asking. Gopis never worried. They never asked Krishna. They never cared for anything. We should understand that. They cared for the world. So if we have devotion and we also have desires in this world, even without our realizing, actually we are bargaining with God only. How it is so is because when we are getting from the world, we are telling God, you just wait, we'll come back to you. We have to enjoy it. We have to see this world and we have to gain. So I think gopis went beyond that, is what I understand. But Swami says they didn't care for anything in this world. Or knowledge, philosophy, nothing. They just wanted Krishna. But as Swami says, they wanted the other, not this Krishna. That means they wanted to experience Krishna even beyond the form. The essence of Krishna they wanted to enjoy, and that's all they, morning till evening, that's all they were focused on. Even though they were leading her life, they were also in the family, they were mother-in-laws, the husbands, children, and all that. They were doing all that, but during all that also, they never forgot that Krishna. And they didn't care if some suffering happened or good happened. That's what I understand. So the bargain word is, sometimes in translation, it may not fully explain what it is. But any desire for world is a bargain with God only. The world is also God.
Mm.
The world is also God. If we think, oh no, I'm not asking Swami, but if I'm going seeking something, if God is everywhere, then we're actually asking God only for that also.
So when we say here that they were eager to know the other, is like similar to the question Sister Aruna asked, like transcend beyond and experience that, like.
Yeah, means they had already transcended, is my understanding.
Okay.
They had already transcended because that's why when Uddhava came and spoke to them, he realized that they understood his philosophy better than him because they were practicing it. Because they didn't think of anything other than thinking of Krishna. I think that is transcending. Yes, but we may think jnana means, this and that, I have to detach, renounce. They even never thought I am renouncing. That is devotion of that caliber. That Swami has put them above everyone else. Okay.
Thank you.
Sai Ram. Kalyani.
Sarah Mangal, in the example Swami is giving of the lady who is thinking of her child at home and carrying all the water pots, and she's eager to go home to her child.
Yes.
So here the child is God, right? And then the water pots and those, it's like her worldly duties. So she's rushing, is she not? Rushing through and trying to get home. So in that process, is she not, she's kind of just rushing and trying to do everything fast so that she can get home to God, right? So,
Yes.
but is that the right way to do it? Or because for example, just if we correlate that with, say, okay, say we want to attend this Sanskrit class, so we rush and do all our duties in the morning in order to attend here, but maybe we're not doing our duties with love if we're rushing.
I think if we get up early, we won't rush. That's why Swami says, start early, drive slowly. Yes, the thing is, the rushing is, we should make haste, but we should not rush, the way I understand. We should, the gopi didn't run so that the water pots fell down. Okay, the thing is, that is balance, so, but the thing is, she was one-pointed. She did not tarry, as Swami said, she didn't stop to chat with friends or wander here or there. She was purposeful. I think that's the way to look at it. We have to be purposeful. Along the way, we have to carry some pots and pans with water, which also means people. Pots and pans are nothing but people also, which is natural, in this world. But our purpose and the goal should not be delayed by anything. I think that's the way we should do. Rather than rushing, or God will say, steady. We should be steady in what we do, regularity and things like that. I think that's more important. because you can't rush, because rush gives a sense of desire, I think our purpose should not be forgotten. I think that's all I would say. That's my understanding, Sai. Maybe wrong or limited, but I just shared my understanding.
Thank you.
Yes, Sister Ananthi, please go ahead.
Sairam, brother, I have two little questions. The Sanskrit word pranasjati, so that the first part of that in the word prana is what is the meaning of the jati, the latter part of that one? You gave in the pada form the perishes. So what really perishes in that? It's a buddhi perishes or something else perishes. I want to see the meaning. It shows prana, that we know that it's a life force. So life force perishes or something else perishes.
Okay, sister. See, the word is not pranashyati, it's pranashyati. So in Sanskrit, so if you remove the pra is a prefix which is added. The word is actually nashyati. The na is not na, it's na. I think I've had to, maybe I will just, it's a good question. I guess people should not be confused. Let me, okay, this is what it's okay. So I'm just going to do something. You saw Nasha. Nasha means destruction. Okay. So I'm just going to do this. Okay, na. Nashyati. Nashya means perishes. That means dies, kills, destroyed. Be destroyed. Okay, in English there's no proper word. Then this is pra is what's called a prefix. Okay. So when this prefix is added, according to grammatical rule or in a Sandhi rule, this na transforms into, so I will copy this. See, pranashyati. Let me. The net transforms into something called na. This is also sandhi. It's an internal sandhi in a word. Okay. This sandhi is called natva sandhi. So this na, when it's preceded by certain letters like ta, da, ra, it turns into na. So pranashyati becomes pranashyati. But prana is slightly different word, which is life force. So I will leave it at that point in time rather than it become too much in terms of grammar. So this is the word pranashyati comes. So pranashyati. Nashyati itself could have been used. But pranashyati means he will be destroyed in every way possible. So you may lose your wealth. You may, take Ravana. He was a powerful guy with a lot of strength. He had lots of family and friends. He had lots of wealth. But he lost everything. It was a complete loss. In every way, it was a loss. He lost the country, he lost the kingdom, he lost his family, he lost his friends, he lost his name, fame, everything he lost. Even the sadhana, any little sadhana he has done, that was also lost. So that type of destruction is pranashyati. So I hope that answers your question.
Now I understand, brother. I thought I took it in a different way.
Yes.
Pranashyati, that makes sense, really. My second question related to that one in Swami's discourse, the Krishna says, my devotees never suffer sorrow. But the Swami or in the Lord Krishna also said that the devotees will be tested more and more in order to transform or in order to give them a lesson or but here it says my devotees never suffer sorrow how practically it happens they will suffer but they won't feel it, or Lord will save from the all the difficulties and these maybe whatever it's beyond of our control, the God will save us, or maybe we will go through the sufferings, but we won't feel it. But the words, so maybe the the verse here, my devotees never suffer sorrow.
Okay, good question, sister. I think you have touched many concepts. So hopefully, if everyone is okay, I will spend time. See, the first thing is test. God tests us, is everyone, all of us say, why is God testing me? See, we should understand the all-knowing God doesn't have to test you to find out where you are. The tests are actually for ourselves only. He will give something so we know for ourselves where we are in the journey. So that we don't become complacent or we don't work on the areas where we have to work on. So God tests, if at all He does. It is only to make us know where we are. Because He already knows where we are. So that's number one. Number two, the devotees maybe seemingly suffering. I think somebody asked a question to Swami once. I think one student asked, Swami, why did Meera go through so much suffering? So Swami had asked, did Meera tell you? Or did Meera tell anyone that she is suffering? Because she was not, she didn't care because she was already engrossed in the Lord. Okay, that is what Krishna says. If you are really a devotee, whatever happens to you, you will be unaffected. Because whatever happens in this world is not related to the world. We may lose money, we may lose our health, we may lose our friends, families, we may lose our dear ones. Everything relates to the world, and they will say, okay, these things happen. But I am only interested in the Lord. So they do not feel, they don't say, I'm Atman, I'm not the body. They don't even do that. Okay, this is only for us who are struggling. So gopis, for them, anything can happen because they've risen above all that. Not intentionally saying, I'm going to rise. They rose because they caught hold of the Lord, who is above everything. So then it may seem to us that they are being tested. Actually, they are not being tested at all. It is those tests are for us. Oh, see, they are going through this and they are not affected, so we also should strive to be that. But for them, they are not even tests. The tests are only for all of us who are in the water, drowning sometimes. But some of these lessons are taught by the Lord through these people. But those things are actually unaffected. They are completely unaffected. So you can't even call them tests for those people. Only in our world, it's a test. I don't know whether I answered your question or not, but
Excellent, brother.
okay, Sairam, sister.
Thank you.
So it's 9:16. We read two verses which is very, very practical for all of us. That is, whatever we do, we should not forget the Lord. Even if you have desires, let's not forget the Lord. They should not take our mind away from it. We can live in this world like the woman carrying the pots. But we should know our steps should be such, while carrying the pots, while filling the water in the river, still she is thinking of the child, which is part of life in this world. As long as the body has to be kept and we have to conduct our life in this world, there are certain things needed. But through all this, as long as we don't forget the Lord any moment, then our steps are firm and they're walking towards the goal. And I think if we do that through all the distractions, and as Sister Anand said, tests, we will, one day, we will reach, hopefully soon, not too late, as Swami said. I will stop here. Thanks for listening. And we can meet next week with some more verses. Okay, Sairam, everyone. We'll close the session with prayers. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone.